wonderful good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, to you wherever you are. It's a glorious Tuesday morning. It is the 5th day of the month of July. Indeed, it's a pleasure being here with you. I'm Joseph Cador. You call me JC, and I say thanks for being part of another episode of To The Point. Indeed, it's a pleasure being part of this conversation to you, our listeners, in Classic 105.5 and 105.9. Our viewers on GBN Television, Channel 7, Channel 11 on Channel 20 if you are on cable. Or you're probably joining us via the World Wide Web at www.gbn.gd. Thanks for being part of this conversation. It is Tuesday, and as we've come to expect in recent times, or as part of our natural selection as it comes to programming, we make way for the opposition. And the opposition, the Right Honourable Dr. Keith Mitchell, he was officially sworn in yesterday as leader of the opposition. And certainly we're going to focus our conversation on that. For the last couple of years, we've had an absence, most of you would appreciate, of a formal opposition leader. Then we had the swearing in when they had Tobias Clement, the MP, he served in the capacity for just under a year. But certainly we, as part coming out of the June 23rd election, we have an official opposition that's been sworn in. And the question's been asked, is this good for democracy? Is it good, bad? Does it make a difference? Or some say they can't be bordered. But just before we chime into that conversation, we're just going to do a throwback from yesterday's swearing-in ceremony of the opposition leader, the Right Honourable Dr. Keith Mitchell.
Without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. So help me God.
There you have it, Grenada. That was the swearing in, the official swearing in ceremony that took place yesterday of the official leader of the opposition, the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell. That took place yesterday, and that the swearing in was followed by an official press conference, certainly where members of the media got a chance to interview him in his capacity as leader of the opposition. As part of the conversation, Dr. Mitchell said he's committed to working along with the current administration for the overall growth of the country, but certainly reiterated the importance of his party, as you could well imagine. What say you? Is this good, bad, indifferent, or is it that most of you cannot be bothered? You think it's just going to be business as usual? Is this a step in the right direction for democracy? And that's the conversation this morning as we go directly to the telephone line. Good morning, caller. You are live. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, morning, Joseph.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, to answer your question, if the individual was sincere, then he probably be good. You know, last night I was very pleased that GBN had this program, but I almost missed it. And in which a number of things were revealed. Michael, whatever the guy called, like he couldn't tell whether the sincerity of a person based on what they say and the body language and so on. There's a few things I want to point out, Joseph, if you will allow me. In his discourse yesterday, one of the things he said in relation to the dock salary, that he holds his position still, and his thing is that if you don't work, you shouldn't be paid. What about all the people that were paid money out of Grenada consolidated funds that didn't work in all the schemes that they have? What about Mr. Sheldon Scott, who it was admitted that they were spending on the cell phone? In fact, I remember in one of the stimulus package to the various sectors, including the hotel, I heard this gentleman admitted that they were wrongdoing on the part of some people in the hotel sector was not quite honest, but he said nothing would be done to them. I mean, there's so many things. that this man has, when you hear him say anything, just think the opposite. That's the thing about it. I could elaborate it. I've even made a study over the years of this gentleman. In fact, in 1990, one of the reasons why there was a delay in the you might say the establishment of the government preceding the election was the role he was playing, trying to be a broker so that the Honorable then late Ben Jones could become Prime Minister. You should read Sir Paul Schoon's book, Survival for Service. You will see some of the things I'm talking about.
But let me ask you though, because I'm getting the sense that you have your own. You're not getting the sense. You have your own personal thoughts on the opposition leader. But as the office as it is, do you think the fact that we now have an official opposition coming out of an election, is this good for democracy? Is this good for the way forward?
But and I understand, and I'm welcome. I appreciate where you want to take this thing. But when you see in the last round in 2008, let me give you an incident that happened.
No, but you're not. I notice you obviously that you're not willing to answer my question.
No, I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question, not necessarily how you want me, but I'm answering it. I'm telling you, in 2008 election, when this gentleman was opposition leader, there was an incident in Parliament where the Speaker asked him, either you withdraw the statement, I approve the statement. He couldn't prove the statement, and the opposition leader, the Speaker told him, well, if you can prove it, then withdraw it. He refused to withdraw it, and then the Speaker ordered him out. And what he told the Speaker when he was being joined out, he turned back and said, yes, they're paying you to do that, they're paying you. That is the behavior of opposition, of a leader common. So in principle, it's good, because I think Joseph Anarad, Grenada suffered severely in the last many years, almost 10 years, and probably even when you had the other 15 seats sweep, because the Speaker at the time in the last two governments, the Speaker didn't have the possibility of developing a skill to manage conflict, to manage the conflicting concepts, conflicting contribution, and that did well bad, because all you had the ministers going and giving some report on the constituency. There was no real debate. So I think now, if tempered is kept in check, and real conversation happen, it will be very good for Grenada. But based on history, I have little confidence in the whole lot. Maybe they need to have a kind of coup or something like that to get somebody else in that group, and maybe you'll be helpful.
I'm with you. Thanks for your contribution. 435-2041, that is the number on the inside. We've had yesterday we saw the official swearing in of the opposition leader. Prior to the Friday before, we saw the swearing in of the cabinet, and it was also certainly. Is this good for this coming out of re-election? Is this good for democracy? 435-2041. You can give your contribution. One of it, he was asked whether or not he would change his position on the docking of salaries, and he remains steadfast on it. It is what it is. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Uncle Joe.
Good morning to you.
Uncle Joe, I must apologize yesterday the way I hung up the phone. I humbly apologize. I beg your forgiveness. That was not very nice on me, but I was a little bit angry. I was getting over.
Okay. No problem. That's fine.
Uncle Joe, I honestly believe if we're looking at a development point of view, I believe Dr. Mitchell did what he had to do. Some of them we agree, some of them we don't agree. And I believe last election gone, or many elections, he said that was his last. Now, if he had resigned before the election, he would have lived with a certain, the word leave me more there. No, he's in the opposition. Anybody would ask me, I would say, look, Dr. Mitchell doesn't need money. Dr. Mitchell now should resign from this fighting back and forth and enjoy, because he is not a very good leader. people was following him because of fear and different things. And no, he will not be a good opposition leader.
Okay.
Look at how, when he sworn in yesterday, look at his anger. Look at how he carried on, even when he called in the name of God. So I believe he should think about it. And I think the good Lord do Mr. Bowen a favor. Retire, relax. You're going home with your bundle of pension already.
Okay.
However, that's one. I think Peter David make himself a puppet all along. I think he should retire, get the bundle of pension, and go back to his law firm. You know, these people, they don't care about, all they're checking on is the power. Look at Emmeline Peer. There was a rumor that she was going to be the prime minister. I don't know if things were sweet and she got the news, the tea, I don't know. But she started walking with her shoulder up and she started doing big and mighty. Come on. All you people, all you don't really care when you look at the things in the poverty rate in their community, in their constituents. Well, I mean, I believe they should just resign. Go with a bundle of pension. Let other people come and see what they have. Let us look at building our nation. And Peter David, you make yourself a puppet. Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Take care. 452041. Mike, let's see what's happening on social media. There is an active conversation that is taking place there. This one person says, Keith said, "So help me God with a heavy heart." I'm not quite sure how we determined that his heart was heavy. This person says, Young Wealth says, "Of course, opposition is always good, but not for the 6. Interesting. Some other feedback coming from via social media. Edmund says, "Big support yesterday." In response to the first caller, this contributor says that man talking is an anti-Keith, anti-NNP individual. He says Keith is a sole loser. He's no match for Dickon when it comes to articulation of an issue. Neither is his diction as impressive. 435-2041, that is the number on the inside. Thank you, Mike, for working with me. We're going to continue to take the feedbacks as we get it. Some people was asking, and I'm not sure if they were surprised as to what his position is. I mean, remember, an individual's position, the question is whether or not he would change his mind. Then you're asking the question, was it an individual that was taking a decision was it taken in isolation, or was it a collective decision? Was it? That's a different conversation. Good morning, caller. You are live.
Morning,
good morning,
Joe,
sir.
and to your followers. I missed the swearing yesterday, but I've had many little tidbits in the news and so. And I am sad because I have known Dr. Mitchell a long time. He's the longest serving leader of our country. I have not agreed with him on many things, but looking at him and listening to some of those utterances over the last, few hours, it makes me very sad to see how, what has become of him. He has served our country, and we have to be appreciative of what he has done. Not always to the satisfaction of everyone, but I don't like the way he seems to be going down. Folks describe him as being angry and arrogant, and I'll add another A, anxious. He seemed very anxious about his future, anxious about his party. Because don't forget, and the opposition is a part of the government.
Correct.
But the party is not a part of the government. The Constitution does not acknowledge or recognize political parties. So he is accepting, the position of opposition leader yesterday was purely a governance issue,
right,
and not a party issue. But we see in the end he deteriorated, and he was talking to his party and warning them and threatening and saying that nobody going to push him. It was not about his party. And probably has gotten so accustomed to making it when he was talking,
right,
when he was running the country, that he's forgotten that party has nothing there. That was a totally national governance issue. He made it a party issue, and it is sad. He seems to be melting down, and I hope that there are people close enough to him who can help him, counsel him, and enable him to go out in a graceful way and not humiliate himself the way he seems to be heading towards. I really pray for him.
Thank you,
and I do care for him.
Appreciate
I really do care for him.
Appreciate your feedback. 17 minutes gone past the hour of 9 o'clock in the morning time. To the point, the conversation. We've had the official swearing-in of the opposition, the leader of the opposition yesterday, the Right Honourable Dr. Keith Mitchell. Was it good for politics? Some say yes, no. Others saying good for the opposition. Others, they seem to take different about it. We continue to look at some feedbacks coming via social media. This contributor says this is very good. You should always have checks and balances. Doesn't matter who is in power, and I agree with you 100%. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You are live.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to you, caller.
Yes, good morning. I listened to the conversation here and there, but I think we need to push far past the attitude and behaviors of the ex-Prime Minister and focus on what we need to do now. One of the things that I see that is very important, because I noticed that NDC they have a passion for education and for the youth, and at least this present government seems to, because we even had free school books prior to this, right? And now we're talking about free education, and I think one of the ways that can help the government and the various schools is by not letting the schools, especially the secondary schools, lay dormant in the night. Because at night, older people, young people who have had to leave school before time, and all that need to further their education.
Right.
And the schools can be used as that avenue to educate the people.
Okay.
And sometimes what can happen is rooms can be rented out to, sometimes it's teachers right in the school want to give extra classes to help their little, dollar stretch a bit, and there are people, seniors in the community who may have a skill and would like to pass it on.
Right.
Okay, so if it's rented, then the school would get a little income. Right,
okay,
and we have more productivity, because even the domestic science, or we used to say domestic science room, but the place, the food lab. The food lab can be used if every school used their food lab as a mini factory.
Right.
You understand? Make use of our what we've got.
Okay,
what we've got. We may not be able to build a big factory now.
Right.
But put the children, even the children and people on the outside, let people have an avenue to drive to whatever.
Okay.
Okay?
I think I'm with you.
And all of that, educate the children into business from very early.
That's where the focus should be.
Yeah, so I'm saying, let us use our schools. Do not let the schools go to sleep at night.
Right.
They don't need sleep. School don't need sleep.
Okay,
people need sleep. So, but we need to utilize the time. So, we could have something going on.
Okay.
Young people have skills that they want to pass on to their brethren and their sister and whatever. and older people have skills they want to pass on to the younger ones.
Okay.
And sewing, crochet, I mean, just about everything could be going on in the schools at a certain time in the evening time.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Have a blessed day.
You continue to hear the conversation that greater trust should be placed on education. I think there's a need for that conversation is that even at the community level, the resurgence of and reinstallment and installation of community centers that allows for persons to meet and have that ongoing conversation about national development. Good morning, caller. You are live. 22 minutes past the hour.
Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
Joe, it was very sad to have heard about this murder in St. Andrews and 4 murders in St. Andrews over a period of time. And in most of the cases, we heard about St. Lucia from the program this morning and Trinidad and the number of murders they had for a year. We're not the lowest and we're not the highest. But for Joe, these things are because people do not have God in their life. Joe, when I was a child growing up, you know, in school you might have a little problem with another student. And they said, look, but if it wasn't for God, and you restrain yourself because you were conscious of God. So you say, if it wasn't for God, what you would have done. So I'm saying no, the youth has not been taught of God. From homes, they just get up in the morning, they bathe, they dress, they go to work, they go to school, they come back, they go to sleep. No God, no prayer in some homes. And when I was a young child at school, most of the scripture that I learned is from school. And what I want to suggest to the Ministry of Education, and also I want to tap into the minister responsible for religious affairs. I'm not talking about religion, I'm not talking about denomination, but the Bible should be taught to the children in school. They must know that there is a God, and they could connect with that God. They can relate to God. They have to respect and honor that God. But they're not taught. The schools now don't have prayer teams. I don't go to them, so I don't really know. But to me, if there was prayer in school, if they were talking about God and the Bible in the school, the children would have had a form of restraint. They wasn't going to just allow themselves to stab one another, to kill one another, to bang down. You know, they would have that. But when God is absent, the other man called Lucifer takes over. And it seems from what's been happening in Grenada over the last 20-something years, we have given the country seemingly to the devil, so he's reigning. But God has delivered us, and we need to continue to pray. We cannot afford to let Grenada go down the tubes. We have to pray. We have to continue to pray, because if it were not for prayer, I don't know where we would have been today. But because of prayer, God saved us. But we cannot just sit down and relax because God saved us, because Satan don't give up. Satan do not give up. When he holds something, he want to keep it. And if we don't get the children, the next generation, in tune with God, so they could grow up knowing God and give their life to Christ and know that there is a God that they have to reverence, the nation will be different. We could do all the development we want, but if we leave God out, it will be better. We have nothing.
Thank you, Kola.
God bless Grenada. God bless Grenada. God bless Grenada. God bless the new Prime Minister.
All the best to you. 452-041. I'm just looking at social media and I'm smiling, and I'm getting the sense that some people have become experts at reading people's body language, and it's interesting how people they form their own conclusion, and sometimes you see things and you can deduce or reasonably, but I say to you, do not always whatever you see. Sometimes what you see, what the eyes perceive, is not necessarily always what's happening in the heart. My good lady Sue, good morning to you. We're keeping our eyes on the clock. 26 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You're alive.
Hi, morning, Joe.
Good morning to you.
This lady that just spoke there, she's full of double standards. God is not a convenient God. We don't go to him when we want and we expect him to hear us. I heard her several times before on programs slandering other persons. When you say what happened the last 25 or 35 years, so that means the people that were attracting the devil?
435-2041. That is the number on the inside. I just love to the point. Yeah, I love to the point. Some folks, they just get to the point, and I can easily appreciate that. 27 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. 435-2041. Again, reminding you can also make your contribution via the social media platform. This person says, I am happy about the functional opposition in Parliament. No more of everyone congratulating each other. Now there's an opportunity for real debate and thus move for progress. However, pain is not working. I believe it is settling a bad precedence. Interesting. And there's always going to be different conversations as to whether or not the Prime Minister should take the decision to pay the dock salaries, and that is always going to be a Pandora's box on that, depending on which side of the fence that you're on. But I'm sure when you hear that money do spend, some people are going to really and truly, they are going to enjoy. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You are live.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you, caller.
Of course, the opposition is good for democracy. And on this note, I just want to say congratulations to the former Prime Minister. He's now officially Grenada's opposition leader. And to all of those who work with him, congratulations. Joe, I also want to say thank you to I especially remember Miss Dia Forrester, like her deportment, the way she handled her situation. I think she deserves commendation. Wherever she go, I believe that, she would blossom. And to all of those officials who have served us in whatever capacity, I just want to say a special thank you. And I also want to say thank you to GBN for continuing to accommodate the opposition on Tuesdays, the government on Wednesdays. So I do hope, all concerned work with you guys, and we as spectators and listeners don't go, blaming and, shooting out at the various journalists.
Right.
One of the things I observed too, though, yesterday, I wondered why the opposition is part of government, an important part, and GIS for some reason did not carry that line, and I just wondered why. I mean, no malice or anything. It's just that GIS is government information service, and maybe if they were having a problem, they should probably, let us know, because, you use various platforms, and it's just an observation.
Okay.
And let us continue to be respectful, support each other, and remember, at the end of the day, Grenada belongs to all of us. I also want to say a heartfelt thank you to those before who had given us the free books. My children benefited, and I believe they're better off for it. We saved a lot, and whatever they decide to do, I hope it's in the best interest of all our children and all of Grenada. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, sir.
God bless you too. It's just about 29 minutes gone past the hour of 9 o'clock in the morning time. We have to take a quick commercial break. Just a word of caution for persons that are on social media. I want to remind you that the GBN Facebook page is an official Facebook page that represents us here at the GBN. Yes, it is a social media platform, and we do encourage individuals to express and show respect at all times. Now, I think each and every one of us, we appreciate that we'll all have different perspectives on this whole electoral scheme as it is, the process as it is. But certainly the issue of disrespect is not one that will be tolerated, whether verbally or otherwise, or in any of the GBN platforms. Again, a word for the wise is enough. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back, right here on To The Point. They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride, and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it. of changing your baby's clothes? We have the perfect solution. Sleepy Denim Diapers, giving you that fashionable denim look throughout the day with the same soft touch. Look cool, look hip, rock in style with Sleepy Jeans.
Distributed by Sleepy Diapers Grenada Limited, Loafers Lane, St. George, and available at shops and supermarkets island-wide.
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
It is 28 minutes on to the hour of 10 o'clock in the morning time. Welcome back to The Point for today, the 5th day of the month of July. I'm Joseph Cador, and thanks for being part of the conversation. For those of you just joining us, this conversation touches and surrounds the swearing in that took place yesterday of the opposition leader, and the Right Honourable Dr. Keith mentioned that the question whether or not this is a good step for our democracy, good, bad, indifferent. What are your thoughts as we continue to navigate the way forward in this post-election period? We go back to the telephone lines. Classic, good morning. You're live.
Yeah, morning again, Joseph. I just want to make two quick points. I wouldn't be long. One is that the former leader and Prime Minister mentioned about consequences as a result of the decision of the current Prime Minister to pay the deduct salary owing to teachers. We have to talk about consequences that have been happening as a result of his refusal, because even some of the issues people are talking about, the crimes and whatever, the disorder, as a result of that, because the students have been disrupted, the whole, and you can see it, from time to time. And secondly, one of your last callers who talked about the lack of the presence of the GIS. Maybe this is a fulfillment of the prophecy of the same leader that says what goes around comes around, because if we had allowed these institutions like GIS to function properly, then there would have been no sort of, thing, whatever, like what happened yesterday. Maybe it's a pattern people following. So I just want to see that. Thanks.
Thank you. 45-2041, that is the number to get in on the inside. We're taking some contributions from social media, and again, the issue of night school for secondary schools. Night schools for secondary schools. I think what they call it basically, and I would endorse it, the education. There must be a greater thrust on education, whether or not you use the secondary schools or you use the community centers wherever they are available. I think the conversation needs to be broadened as to how do we afford individuals an opportunity that allows them to expand on the options for education outside of the traditional school hours. And I think certainly that has to do well. This person says we do not need to teach our students how to study better and actually occupy. We need new study practices. 435-2041. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Brother Joe. How is everything?
I'm fine, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm blessed myself. I'm blessed. Now, we are a small people and a small nation. We are a country built not today, not yesterday, not next week, we are a country built forever, for the generation to come. Often we are people too individualistic and too pull down and too disrespectful as a little nation, as black people. We like those who we like when the time comes, and we hate those who we like when they're in authority to build Grenada. When the past government building Grenada, as them come together and let's build Grenada, they have time for that. They ain't come and build Grenada when certain people in authority. When the people come in authority, they feel they like now with nice talk and pretty talk, they're ready to build Grenada right now. Come together now. The PRM made Grenada in every time nice and cool. They had plans more than this government, and they destroyed Grenada. And this come again with nice talk again. Nice talk and pretty talk, and then they go talk nice, and people feel that he's Christ already. And he ain't do nothing yet, but he's Christ.
Do you think the opposition, sir, is a plus for democracy?
In everything, you need opposition.
Okay.
In everything in life, you need opposition.
Okay.
But let us build Grenada and leave all this individualistic thing we have in Grenada. We ain't care about Grenada if you go up or you go down. I better build Grenada for tomorrow, for the children for tomorrow. That we've been trying to do, you know. Build this country for tomorrow, children to come, because them can build tomorrow, you know. If our parents built for we in the past, we have nothing going on, you know. Look at lazy generation. Okay, they're lazy. They don't want to work hard. Only believe computer, they go eat computer. You know, and they go eat science and technology. We have to build with food and industry and factory and things.
Allow me to ask you, so I'm getting a sense that do you have a problem with our young people and technology and the energy?
I say no, technology is good, Joe.
Well, yeah, but the way you just spoke,
I say no, but they believe that alone could help them.
No, I think maybe then you need to say that, sir, because you almost sounded as though you had a problem with our young people.
No, Joe, they're lazy.
Well, sir, I don't necessarily agree that our young people are lazy. I don't think that they're lazy. They're in a different paradigm, and maybe they're not as.
They may think in life too easy.
Okay, sir.
They may think in life too easy, Joe.
So what are you going to do, sir, to change that which you see as a laziness, that lazy culture among our young people?
Young people have learned by the home. They have learned by the home. Young people in the home, men doing nothing.
So everybody's not going to get into agriculture.
What do you eat?
So I'm asking you the question, sir. What do you propose? What are you suggesting? It is always easy to try to blame. What are you suggesting that we do?
As a nation?
To help the young people.
But education alone? Only educate them. So I don't walk in.
Okay,
the country to go.
Thank you.
So let me chat.
Thank you very much, sir.
So you guys want to say, I know what I'm saying.
That's the problem. I want to have a conversation with you, but people assume because you just want to say what you want to say that I'm being biased. If you want us to have an objective conversation, I mean, young people are lazy. Well, maybe. Well, anyway, let's leave that right there. 20 minutes on to the hour of 10 o'clock in the morning time. To the point. Let's take some comments via social media, Mikey, before we go. This person says, I was a beneficiary of free education during the revolution, and with it, my 5 siblings were able to attend McDonald College and didn't have to pay anything. We all turned out to be professionals in different areas. So I think with help, poor people we need to find money they don't have to make sure that at least their children can be educated to help their families in the future. Go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You alive? Caller, you alive?
Yes, good morning. Let me just go down this thing a little bit.
435-2041, that is the number on the inside. Caller, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead, please. Good morning.
I think folks should have understanding concerning the political affairs of this country. Everyone has a right to speak his opinion, but I think they know how it is in campaigning, during the election campaign and what and what. But the election is over, so we should thank the former government for all that they have done for the country. And then the new administration, let us show and support the new administration to help build back the country, or to build, or to continue in whatever way, and take it easy. And don't stick against each other with hatred and all these kinds of things. And one suggestion I want to make is that some people want too much time on the air, too many times. So maybe we could limit the time span for each person, maybe 2 minutes, okay?
Thank you, caller.
That's my suggestion.
Well appreciated.
Oh, okay then.
435-2041, that's the number on the inside. It is 18 minutes onto the hour of 10 o'clock in the morning time. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You're alive.
Hi, good morning, Joe, and how are you?
I'm wonderful as always, thank you.
Joe, we had a wonderful program this morning on GBN. People release this stress. We had a laugh, and I enjoyed that program. But after somebody come and put a little damp on it. So I want to say to us today, There's a lot of people that support the NNP vote for the NDC. And let us not make them feel so bad because we're going to need them next time around. Because if you disrespect them like that, they will think next time as well, I vote for them and look at how they get in hand. So let us treat everybody with love and care. And as I say, I enjoyed the program this morning. We need a little laughter too. We can be tense. That is not good for our health.
Okay.
Bye-bye, my brother.
Bye. Have yourself a great day. 435-2041, that's the number on the inside. This person says an opposition is an opposition in this current construct is going to be very healthy. Let's remember they were the government, so to some of the things that weren't told to us, like who currently owes the postal cooperation, etc. We might just get the answer to that. We go back to the telephone line, 435-2041. Again, reminding you can post your contributions via the WhatsApp portal, the number being 435-2041. This contributor on WhatsApp says it is sad to see the way people speak about Dr. Keith. This man has served this country for all these years, yet has received ill favor, disrespect, and ungratefulness from his own country. It is true that when you say a king has no honor in this country, let's do better, please. Even the word says, don't badmouth your leader. Don't even under your breath, and don't abuse yours ever, even in the privacy of your home. Loose talk. Let's talk the way we're getting picked up and spread around. Again, a contribution coming via social media. Another person says, well, good morning to you, contributor. Yesterday, I thought the opposition leader was addressing his party at an NNP rally. Quite interesting. And we continue to have various perspectives on the issue. 16 minutes on to the hour. Good morning, caller. You are live.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I will say that an opposition is almost indispensable for a healthy democracy. It is unfortunate for nearly 1 decade, Grenada didn't have any official opposition in the lower house. However, any opposition intent on war and criticism only for criticism's sake would be futile and useless. We need objectivity. I remember in the year 1990 to 1995, and in the other period, 2008 to 2013, the kind of opposition we had was very self-defeating. And when people talk about a past prime minister for what he has done wrong, one is the truth. Let the truth prevail. Where he needs to be praised, he may be praised. But where he needs to be criticized for the wrong he does, he should be criticized. The truth must stand unopposed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. 14 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. It's to the point. Again, we want to say thanks to all our listeners and on Classic 105.5 and 105.9. And those of you that's contributing via social media. Heather contributing on WhatsApp says, I'm finding that people are not... let's take this, not this one. Yeah, I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back to that one. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
I must indeed say this. We all are human beings. Yes, in life, we must expect things will happen. You have to live allowance for things. We are not perfect in the sight of God. But at the same time, become like a young person. When they're young, they will repeat that they want to have the house, they want to have 2 children, they want to have the land, they want to have the car. And the same way they sit and plan, those things didn't work out as it should. But remember, we are human beings. We have to respect one another for who we are. Things will fall from the sky just like that, Mr. Joseph Scado. And if we are big people and we're behaving like that, and we're ridiculing the past Prime Minister, what about what they will say about the present Prime Minister if he make a mistake? Remember, God is watching us and He's listening and He knows our behavior. Yes, we might disagree with things. I'm not taking for anyone. Dr. Keith Mitchell, yes, he do what he have to do, but at the same time, we will not get everything done. We know we do make mistakes, but still we cannot run down one another because we are not better than one another. At the same time, because all of us do sin by words, thoughts, and deeds, but we all have to have respect for one another. We are saying too much, and this Prime Minister that resigned, I feel it for him because I put myself in his state. We are human beings. We are hurting inside. If we can say good, let us not say bad. And pray and ask God that the one that present, that He can do better because we say we want change. But we ourselves have to set an example for the one that is present now. And push him, pray for him, encourage him, embrace him, that he can do better than the one that was there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, caller. It's about 11 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. This is To The Point for today, the 5th day of the month of July. And just while we at it though, I just want to make sure that just a word to you parents, make sure you keep tabs of the registration dates for your child or children and those that need to be registered for secondary school. Just make sure you keep tabs of that and ensure that you, as I said, drink water and mind your business. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You are live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, caller.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. You're live.
Hello, good morning. I'm very disappointed in some of our Grenadian people. We're supposed to be praying for one another to build our country, and we're just doing a set of wrong things. We need to stop. He without sin cast the first stone, and there is none of us that could cast stone at each other. So we have to be careful of the things that we say and do to people.
Okay.
So you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You stay blessed just the same. All the best to you. 10 minutes on to the hour in the morning time, and just to remind you, a reminder that once you're calling into the program, we can conduct the conversation via the telephones, whatever device that you're close to. You either move away from it as best on, just turn it off all together. We're going to go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You are live. You are live, caller.
Mr. Kado, good morning.
A wonderful good morning to you, caller.
I mean, I agree with this last caller, but when we see wrong, we have to call it out for what it is.
Right.
And there were so many wrongs during the last administration. We are not going to turn a blind eye on it, but we're going to criticize in a constructive way. And I believe the past Prime Minister should conduct himself in a better and decent way. Have a good day.
Thank you. All the best to you. This country with it says, well, you have to understand that administrations, the government is employed by the people. And ever so often, we get a chance to appraise them and to make our recommendations and suggestions. 435-2041, that is the number that is on the inside. We're running out of time. We probably have the opportunity for just a few more calls. This person says, come on, madam. What did Dr. Mitchell say to call... let's go back here. We have another caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hi, good morning, Caro.
Good morning. I'm wonderful, thank you.
All right, Caro, I am listening, and sometimes it's good laughter. I like, it's good to hear the Bible being quoted and all that, but there is a part in the Bible that say what we read, what we sow, that's what we're going to reap, right? And I mean, we can't just quote the part that favors us and don't quote the rest.
Right.
The Bible says, "What a man soweth, that shall he reap." The Prime Minister, the outgoing Prime Minister, sowed the things that he gets in now. So why should he sow it? So he should plant mango and eat orange, not recognizing that somebody else planted the orange? No. I mean, the Bible have its natural justice. So why are we trying to go against the natural justice of the Bible? I agree that it is peace time. It is time to come together, get hearts, hands in unity, aspire, build, and advance. I agree.
Right.
But at the same time, the nature will take its course. And even while we aim at doing certain things, that doesn't mean that nature wouldn't take its course. Whatever we plant, that's how we sow, that's what we're going to reap.
Okay.
And he have to repent. But the irony is, all the religious talk and the use of the excerpts of the Bible, why aren't we calling on him to repent? He have done things that is wrong. He blatantly wrong, right? I cannot forgive you if you didn't say you're sorry. Huh? I mean, come on, it goes two ways. So, listen, if you have empathy for the gentleman, and the gentleman don't have empathy for himself, then, well, if you want to continue having empathy, fine. But I am ready to forgive as long as he is willing to repent.
Okay, sir. I think that's probably a nice way to wrap up this morning's conversation. Indeed, it was a pleasure being here with you. I say thanks to all of my callers, my contributors via social media, those of you that made major contributions via the WhatsApp portal. Allow me to say to you that yesterday was yet another step in the right direction as we continue our drive and our growth as a nation. Certainly, within any society, there need to be checks and balances. We will not always agree as to who is there, but we have to understand the office of the opposition leader. It is there to maintain checks and balances. I do hope that sooner rather than later we get past the euphoria, the excitement that was conjured up by this election period, and we would put our hands to the wheel, hearts and hands together. Together we work together towards developing this nation of ours, this little piece of rock that is called Grenada. And I continue to implore and I beg you, I encourage you. You ask yourself the question each day: it's not what my country can do for me, but what can I do? What part can I play to be part of nation building? Until then, so long, everybody. JC loves you. Have yourself a great one. The man GT comes in and the top of the hour to take us through until 12 midday. Until then, so long, everybody. God.